If you are looking to move to New Mexico in 2024, more specifically Albuquerque, this video is gonna be the ultimate guide to moving down here, so let's go. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time tuning in to the Living in Albuquerque channel, welcome. My name is Eli, and if you do us a huge favor and yourself a huge favor and hit that subscribe and notification bell down at the bottom, that way you guys never miss out on any videos, because I am dropping videos every week talking about what our beautiful city of Albuquerque and surrounding cities, of course, have to offer. Now, aside from doing these videos, I gotta let you know, I am also a licensed real estate broker here in the state of New Mexico, and me and my team are ready to help you guys out. So as much as we love doing this, we love to help you out with your real estate needs. So that number popping up on the screen is our direct line, and I'd love to hop on a quick 30-minute video call with you guys. That way we can really get down to the nitty and gritty, talk about all the different details that it's gonna take to get you down here to places like Albuquerque. But in today's video, I got the ultimate guide that is gonna help you with making that decision to move down to Albuquerque. So smooth, so seamless, and super duper easy. So let's go. The number one thing on this list is gonna be the elephant in the room, right? The affordable living and housing options that we have here in Albuquerque alone is very diverse, right? You may run into some neighborhoods where you're having new developments, and then you may run into some more historical areas like in the Old Town area and the Rio Grande Valley area, which is gonna be pretty much a remnant of what the first beginnings of Albuquerque was back in the day when people started to really make this into a city. And believe it or not, some of the older structures are still there to this day. It's pretty crazy to see these old adobe buildings that are conjoined together in that Old Town area. And really, to bring it to light, the average price home here in Albuquerque, you know, just kind of a general, is gonna be around that $350,000 mark. Now, yes, that is high for a city that, you know, doesn't have a lot going on. But to be honest with you, any other city that you're looking at, as far as like the West Coast or the East Coast, you're getting closer to that $1 million range, and it's getting, I don't know, unpractical to purchase a home that you're better off just renting. And down here, renting and purchasing a house is pretty much neck and neck. There's some areas where it's actually cheaper to purchase a home than to rent a home and, you know, not own anything. But to showcase to you guys that, hey, it's not just all about numbers, and to really give you guys a gauge of where you're wanting to live based off affordability, then you are gonna wanna look at these top three areas. Number one is gonna be the Northeast Heights, and you're looking around $330,000 for average home on that side of town. Now, keep in mind that they may be a little older, but they also may carry some unique characteristics like a bigger lot, you know, different styles of homes, mid-century modern and all that stuff. And then if you are looking to live somewhere where it's a little bit more residential, cookie cutter homes, and super affordable, the Southwest is gonna be that place for you, because right now, the average price home is going for $285,000, super under that average price home of Albuquerque in total. And if you do wanna get just a little bit, you know, in between both of those, or if you want to live somewhere where it's super convenient to all the stores, shopping, freeways, you're going to want to look into the Northwest side, because this side of town has places like Ventana Ranch, Taylor Ranch, Paradise Hills, and you are going to be looking around that $350,000 mark, which could get up in price. Of course, the more west you go, closer to Rio Rancho, you are going to see those prices start to go up, which is kind of ironic, because once you go into Rio Rancho, prices start to drop, start to fluctuate a little bit. And, you know, there's also videos on the channel that I've done talking about that, so go ahead and check those videos out too. But let's get into this next topic. All right, number two is probably the number one reason why people are moving down here, and it's our culture and our community engagement. When I'm having the conversations with people who call based off of this channel, and they're talking about moving down here from California, Texas, New York, wherever it is on the map, they're always talking about how disconnected they feel to their community. And down here, it couldn't be any more true that the community is actually waiting for you to come down here to add value, because we want that outside perspective to come and help us grow. And we also want those types of people to come into our circle, so they don't feel disconnected anymore. And maybe it's that Hispanic culture and that family-oriented culture that Albuquerque has done a very good job of keeping alive. I mean, you're seeing all kinds of different people helping each other out. It doesn't really matter where you come from or what you are. We are super involved with one another, making sure that we take care of our neighbors essentially, because literally Albuquerque is a city, but yet super small town mentality. Now, outside of that culture aspect, the community engagement here that you're gonna see as far as events go, you're gonna see events, I mean, throughout the summertime, sometimes in the fall and sometimes in the winter when the weather is permitting, but really during those nicer days, you are gonna start to see a lot more pop-up events, a lot of local events. I mean, I've seen some crazy like game nights that some of these breweries put together, like pop quiz nights and then open mic nights. You're gonna just have so much different things to do here. And yes, of course, it's more centered around that adult culture, but even for the kiddos, you have like the museum, Explora, and all these other parks. I mean, there's 200 and some plus parks here. And sometimes there'll even be like people that pop up as far as like food trucks, boba shops, all these different local vendors that will come to the parks to get support from their local community, because what better way to build a business than to be able to serve your neighbors, right? So I don't know, that's just something that I've seen here and something that a lot of people tell me that they see when they come down here to visit. And it's, again, one of the number one reasons why people are moving down here, just because they want to feel connected to their community. All right, guys, so number 3 is probably one of my more favorite ones because I love to be outdoors, and 80% of New Mexicans are outdoor enthusiasts. So whether they're out biking, hiking, doing yoga outside, or fishing or hunting, it's all gonna pertain to getting to the great outdoors, because our climate here is, 300 plus days of sunny weather. I mean, right now it's getting closer to spring. It's a lot nicer out there. Yes, it's a little chilly, but with the sun being out, I don't even need this windbreaker on. I have it on because for whatever reason, it's probably a lot colder inside of my house than it is outside. Really to highlight activities that people are doing outside, right? You got the more famous La Luz Trail, which is a super intense trail. And if you guys come down here and hike it, I highly recommend that you either get with somebody who knows the trail, or you kind of like pre-trial the trail in one of those trail apps, because it is super dangerous and super challenging. But just because of that, it's one of the more sought out ones. And of course, human beings want to be challenged. So if you are into those kinds of things, just be careful. And then you do have the more moderate things to do, right? They have other trails amongst the mountainside there that you can do with your kiddos or with your parents, or whoever it is that you don't want to put in danger. You can do it along these smaller trails, or take them along the Bosque, ride the Bosque Trail, because on the Bosque they do have paved roads, and they also do have some off roads. I know this past year they got all flooded out, so it may be a little dirty, it may be a little bit more reconstructed. I don't know what it's gonna look like, especially since the water levels have gone down, and they're barely getting to that now, especially with the weather starting to get a little nicer. So keep that in mind, that a lot of these places that are outdoors that you can enjoy, it's nature, right? So people who work within the city and those types of municipalities, they are always going to be working to make it better for our residents. Now, you do also have some more seasonal attractions, right? Like the State Fair Parade. You got the 4th of July Parade that goes on. They used to call it Freedom 4th, but I think they call it, I don't know what they call it nowadays, but at the Balloon Fiesta Park, they will host an event where they just do a bunch of fireworks to make sure that the kiddos are safe and nobody's houses are getting burned down, for one, because you'll see it from time to time that there's going to be fireworks that go up in the air, and they're going to be the big ones. Here's a more moderated, more safe environment. And of course, the Isotopes Park, they're going to have baseball games and soccer games depending on what season you're looking. I think in the colder months they're doing soccer, and now that it's getting warmer, they're going to start to do some more baseball. And of course, that AAA league, it's I think it's connected to the Rockies, and sometimes you'll see some MLB stars come through to do their rehabs and all that stuff through this AAA league, which is super cool, and it's actually pretty fun, and it is entertaining, and you get that old school feeling of being at a ballpark game, eating a pizza, drinking a beer, and kind of nostalgic, to be honest with you guys. So if you enjoy that, that's something definitely that you're going to want to look into. But if you're more into the laid back kind of like farmers markets things and all that stuff, now in the springtime, you're going to start to see a lot more of that. Now, number 4 up on this list is going to be the abundance of opportunities around education, right? With UNM being one of the bigger college campuses that I've ever seen, to be honest with you guys, it's always growing and they're always building and adding on. Super cool to see. And nowadays, you're just going to see an influx of more people coming there, especially if they're doing top-notch research in science, because we have the 2 labs here, right? Los Alamos and Sandia National Labs. And plus with the healthcare system, they are just always providing opportunities for that people. And the little insight, if you ever wanted to take like natural remedy kind of classes, UNM is probably the only place in the United States that can give you that type of certification. And trust me, I've done the research and it's crazy. You got to get on a waiting list for this school. But really for the kiddos outside of college, APS also offers so much abundance of opportunities to not only get ahead, but for help and resources for kiddos. And they also have all these different types of clubs that your kiddo can enjoy. Like for one, I didn't know that they had an esports club. I didn't know, like, of course, right, playing Fortnite, playing Call of Duty is a thing, but to be able to join a league through the public school system, man, that's a step in the right direction, because yes, education is super important, but outside of that, we got to really tap into what's important to these kiddos in order to motivate them and show them, hey, you can also apply the same principles of your game or whatever sports club that you're doing into your education, because the more you learn, the more you know, and the more you know, the more you grow. Outside motivation, getting my Tony Robbins on, but really guys, all the opportunities that you are going to have here as far as all the different science groups, literature groups, writing groups, sewing clubs, whatever club you can think of, the APS system has created something for your kiddo in that. So if you do want to look up into the resources, I recommend going onto the website. If there's anybody that I can connect you with, please let me know. All right, number 5, elephant in the room, job market and economic opportunities. Now, starting off with the jobs, most people that are moving down here are getting jobs either in the restaurant business, healthcare, the labs, or just in the movie industry, which is coming down here. We're starting to become the next Hollywood, they say. So outside of that, most people are doing their own thing, creating their own small businesses, or just helping somebody else out with theirs, right? So there's a ton of opportunity here. Not saying that we're the land of milk and honey, but if you are thinking of moving down here, whether you're looking for a job in the energy sector, you want to work for the power companies, or you want to build movie sets, either job is going to pay you a fair wage. Now, that's going to be the only difference that I see from the bigger cities to our bigger little city is going to be the pay gap, right? Most people are making around $40,000 to $50,000 here. In some other cities, they are making double that, but their cost of living is almost triple. So on the back end, yes, you are going to make less money here, but your quality of life, because the cost of living is going to go down, is going to be way better. Now, jumping right into that conversation, number 6, quality of life and your well-being. And I get this question all the time when I'm on these video calls. People ask me, Eli, what is it like to live down there? And I tell them, super chill, right? We don't care about what you drive, what you have, or who you are, so long as you're just a good person. And with you saving a ton of money on the back end, with not having to spend so much money on rent, groceries, transportation, you are going to be able to spend your money in better ways that you want to. Maybe getting like a rock climbing membership or a gym membership at one of these smaller gyms, right? There's all these different opportunities that you can pour back into yourself to fill up your own cup. That's what I see in people when they move down here. They're really shocked at how welcome they also feel. They feel like they've lived here their whole lives. They don't feel like they have to put on this front. And outside of that, the healthcare system is super supportive. There's going to be opportunities and options for everybody out there between the locally owned sector and the big corporations like the Presbyterians and the UNMs and the Lovelaces, that these people are going to have resources for specialists or in-home care or whatever kind of care or need that you need health-wise. that that when I that when people start to really dig into our healthcare system and quality of life, they almost feel like this weight has been lifted off of them as far as where they live, because some people live in rural towns where accessibility to healthcare is, an hour and a half, 2 hours away. Here it's going to be almost 20 to 15 minutes, just to be honest with you guys. Number 7 up on this list, guys, is going to be our entertainment and arts and all that realm right there. And when we're talking about entertainment, there is going to be some cultural things that we do here, right? Like the Day of the Dead run, the Day of the Dead parade, and then you also are going to have like the 4th of July parade, the State Fair, Twinkle Light Parade, River Lights. I mean, it seems like for every season that there's some kind of landmark event that is almost a guarantee that it's going to be there, that it's going to happen. So when you're thinking about moving down here, you're going to want to start to think about, hey, which events do I want to go to on the weekends? That way I can, number one, make more friends, meet new people, because if you're moving from a different state, unless you've already lived here or you know people that live here, you're going to want to make some new friends to create some opportunities for yourself. So with all that being said and done, aside from those events, there is going to be breweries, right, that have awesome outdoor patios, concert style venues and all that stuff. You have like Marble, you have Revel, that is kind of like a food hall collective area where they have concerts and large events. Outside of like the big box things or big box names when it comes to events, you are going to have like the Popejoy Hall, the Chemo Theater, the Launchpad, Sunshine Theater, smaller local events where smaller local bands, artists, art walks, all these kinds of different things are going to be held. I know for one, back in the day in high school at the El Rey Theater, which still has some larger names come through there, we actually got an opportunity to perform there with our music group. I used to be a rapper back in the day, guys, so don't make fun of me. Please say some grace. I'm glad that I found real estate in YouTube because I'm way better at this than I am at that. But really, guys, there is tons of activities, whether you are looking to do something as an adult or if you got some kiddos, right? Because a lot of these events are family-friendly events. Outside of the drinking ones where you're going to a bar, you are gonna be able to take your kiddos with you. And they also have Explora and the museum here, which makes it a ton of fun. Super short trips, they're not gonna be hours long, although you can make it hours long because there's so much different things to really take a look at. You are gonna be able to just pick up the kiddos, pack up and go, and enjoy an hour or two of some fun. Okay, now segueing into the next topic is gonna be number 8, and that's gonna be family-friendly features and activities. Now, anywhere that you go in Albuquerque, you are gonna be able to find something to do for you and your family, right? Something super chill, not so crazy. There's over 200 some parks here that you can take the kiddos to run around, make some noise, or just hold a barbecue, or whatever it is that you want to do with some family-oriented fun. Or if you want to live in a more family-oriented neighborhood, you are going to have those, right? You're going to have the Southwest, the Northwest, and then you also are going to have like the North ABQ Acres, which is a little bit more family-friendly, just because of the way that they've built these communities, that, hey, everything is going to be conveniently located to you, whether it's a Walmart, a Home Depot, an emergency center, or just some kind of urgent care. It's really going to be about 15 minutes away from you. And then again, right, with the events, most of these pop-ups, rail yard markets, they're all going to be centered around what they can offer to the families, because believe it or not, there's so much more families here than young professionals, that why not cater to that? And again, right, most people are moving down here to either retire or start that next chapter of their lives, once they're done with the partying, big city lifestyles, and they realize how good they had it here. They always end up coming back home. I did. Number 9 up on this list is gonna be a funny one because, again, right, family-orientated things. And you're gonna wanna make sure that you leave at least 20 to 30 minutes earlier than you expect in the mornings and in the evenings, because you are gonna encounter traffic if you are crossing that river. I've talked about it countless of times and let you guys know that crossing the river at 7:30 in the morning is the worst. You are gonna spend that extra 15 to 20 minutes in traffic, and who am I to say, right? I had a conversation with a person today that in Washington, DC, for them to get to work is about an hour and a half each direction. So 3 hours of driving every day seems absurd to me. And down here, I should be thankful for those extra 15 to 20 minutes. So it's not every day, it's not all the time. And there's actual cheat codes, and you'll actually know when their schools are having holidays because there's nobody driving. And again, right, family orientated area. So the families are going to really dictate that traffic. Now, Albuquerque is built like a grid, guys. So whatever side of town you're on, whether it's the west side or the east side, you are going to be able to navigate the streets pretty easily. It's pretty hard to get lost. There is some side streets in the South Valley where you kind of get turned around and you start to feel like, hey, I took the wrong turn, now I'm lost. So really, if you end up getting lost, get back on that main road and you'll know what the main road is because you'll see more cars on it. Get out of those little neighborhoods and you'll be just fine. Now, if you are traveling through public transportation, for the most part, it's pretty free. I don't know what pretty free means, but anyways, you guys get the gist. So you are gonna be spending a lot less money traveling through those local outlets. And again, right, there's gonna be one bus that runs east to west and it stops every 15 minutes. And they also have the other buses, we still can't figure out the name of what they are, ABQ Ride or whatever, that stops every 45 minutes just in case if you miss that 15-minute ride. The ABQ Ride buses, they do run north to south throughout the city to make sure that, hey, if you are traveling east to west, you can plan your travel from north to south a lot easier because of that grid-like structure of our city. Now, our city, as far as planning for traffic, has been super effective. They started to realize, hey, what can we do to improve traffic flows? You know, should we add stoplights, take away stoplights, add another road? They've been pretty good the past couple of years of actually recognizing the influx of people moving here and that we need to accommodate that. So all wrapped up, driving here in Albuquerque, public transportation, thumbs up compared to some other cities that I lived in where it's super congested and sitting in traffic for almost an hour and a half. That's crazy. Okay, guys, we've come to the end of this list and probably one of my more favorite ones, and that's gonna be the local businesses and the shopping that we have here is super unique, right? You guys have all seen the Southwest style, turquoise, silver, you know, cowboy boots, all this stuff, right? And really that culture is super heavy here that you're gonna be able to find old feed stores, old cowboy stores where they still sell a lot of these products, and those people have worked there for generations. So it's super cool to see that that's still very alive within the communities. And outside of that, you're starting to see a lot more newer things pop up, like coffee shops, clothing stores, barbershop slash clothing store slash arcade area. I don't know what people are starting to get super creative and coming together to create awesome businesses and super collaborative ones, right? You got like the 505 Food Hall and the Sawmill Market, which are two food halls here that they built within the past couple of years that house different little restaurants, different ice cream shops. You want a smoothie, you can get one. One's a little bit bougier than the other, of course, but either way, it's gonna cater to everybody. And it's super crazy how inclusive it is. When you're walking into these places, everybody's super nice, saying hi to you, giving you free samples. I mean, I can't tell you how many free samples of coffee I've gotten just from doing laps around the place. Don't steal my cheat codes, but I just want to make sure that you guys understand fully what you're getting into when you're moving down here. Now, Old Town has a plethora of local shops, and it's more catered to that touristy kind of vibe. They'll have some wine places and a brewery over there. And if you guys have ever seen Breaking Bad, the candy lady has the Blue Rock candy for sale, which is crazy how they sell that. But if you guys are Breaking Bad fans, you guys are totally going to enjoy going to Old Town because they also have Breaking Bad tours, which again, right outside of the conversation, but the local business, small shopping here is super cool. And there's a ton of Instagram accounts that are local here. And you would have never guessed that they are super big as far as their store goes online. So awesome to see that grow. Awesome to see all the different vendors that are coming out of Albuquerque and doing a name for themselves. I mean, for God's sake, Etsy was created here. So how much local and small can that get and more in touch with the community? Okay guys, now we talked about a bunch of different things. A goulash, basically, of information about what Albuquerque is, what Albuquerque has to offer, some things that you should look into. And we didn't go into neighborhood specifics because what I really want to do is get on that call with you guys, right? And again, that number popping up in the screen is our direct line. And when we get on that video call, we'll discuss all the different areas that you're thinking about, really get down to the nitty and gritty on the type of home that you're looking for, and according to amenities that you're hoping to be next to, or things that you like, right? All of that, putting it together and really discussing what area is gonna best fit you. Now, I really appreciate you guys hanging tight. I know this was a longer video, but if there's anything I can do for you guys, feel free to reach out. You guys have a wonderful weekend. We'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
Yeah, oh my Lord, watch me sway, darkness falls and we all pray.